The CDOT 2026 Flagger training video shall supersede all previous versions. This video is for training purposes only and is based on Part 6 of the 2023 Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices, also known as the NUTCD. This video shall be used in conjunction with the CDOT Flagger Training and Certification course. Individuals taking the CDOT Flagger Training and Certification course must use the current CDOT Flagger Training Manual and the current NUTCD for flagging procedures and techniques. Flaggers working within the state highway right-of-way must also follow the additional flagger rules, which can be found in the CDOT standard specifications for road and bridge construction and in the CDOT Construction Manual. The contractor or entity is responsible for knowing and following all local municipality, city, county, and state laws and standards when flagging in those jurisdictions. The contractor or entity will need to inform flaggers of any additional requirements. Entities that train and certify flaggers, as well as contractors and entities that employ flaggers, are responsible for ensuring that flaggers meet the qualifications as outlined in the MUTCD and Colorado state laws. Welcome! You are watching the Colorado Department of Transportation Flagger Training video. This video is a required portion of the CDOT Flagger Training course. Road construction and maintenance projects are performed each day across the state of Colorado. Some projects will require flaggers while others will not. To maintain safety throughout the duration of such projects, good communication between the traveling public and the construction crew is essential. When flaggers are used, they are the main point of contact between the traveling public and the work crew. The flagger's ability to communicate clearly and effectively is key in maintaining safe passage through the work zone for the traveling public and also maintaining a safe work area for the construction crew. This video, the CDOT Flagger Training Manual, and the NUTCD will help you understand how flaggers fit into work zone safety. Introduction and background. What is a flagger? Per the MUTCD, a flagger is a person who actively controls the flow of vehicular traffic into and or through a temporary traffic control zone using hand signaling devices or an automated flagger assistance device, referred to as an AFAD. All flaggers in Colorado are governed by the MUTCD since Colorado state law requires that CDOT adopt the Traffic Control Manual for the entire state. Colorado state laws are also referred to as Colorado Revised Statutes, or CRS. Flagger qualifications. All flaggers in Colorado must meet the qualifications and requirements as defined in the Colorado Revised Statutes and the MUTCD. Per CRS 43-5-308, a flag person is defined as a person who is 18 years of age or older and trained by an entity authorized by the department. NUTCD qualifications for flaggers can be found in Section 6D.01. Because flaggers are responsible for public safety and make the greatest number of contacts with the public of all highway workers, they should be trained in safe traffic control practices and public contact techniques. Flaggers should be able to satisfactorily demonstrate the following abilities: ability to receive and communicate specific instructions clearly, firmly, and courteously; ability to move and maneuver quickly in order to avoid danger from errant vehicles; ability to control signaling devices such as paddles and flags in order to provide clear and positive guidance to drivers approaching a TTC zone in frequently changing situations; ability to understand and apply proper traffic control practices, sometimes in stressful or emergency situations; and the ability to recognize dangerous traffic situations and warn workers in sufficient time to avoid injury. Flagger Training Course. The Flagger Training course will teach students where flaggers fit into a work zone, their duties, how to flag, where to stand, what to wear, equipment they will use, as well as traffic control devices and usage. All flaggers and potential flaggers must attend a CDOT-approved flagger training course and pass the demonstration and written exams to become a certified flagger. It is recommended that new flaggers receive on-the-job training after they receive their flagger certification. Flagger certification training and testing is provided by CDOT-approved flagger training entities and CDOT-approved flagger instructors. A flagger certification is valid for 2 years in Colorado, and therefore the certification process must be repeated every 2 years to remain active. Roles and responsibilities. Each construction or maintenance project can have different lines of management and positions depending on the type of work and governing entity. If a flagger is needed, they are responsible for stopping, releasing, and slowing traffic in active work zones where unexpected stopping or slowing conditions exist. Traffic can include vehicles, bicycles, scooters, wheelchairs, pedestrians, skateboards, and more. Flaggers usually report to a traffic control supervisor, commonly called a TCS. The TCS is responsible for all traffic control for construction and maintenance projects. The TCS reports to the superintendent. The contractor is the company hired for the construction or maintenance job. Each contractor will have a superintendent, who is responsible for all work on the project. On smaller jobs, a representative of the contractor, usually a foreman, may be the TCS and the flagger's direct supervisor. On larger jobs, a subcontractor who specializes in traffic control will provide a TCS. The project manager is a representative of the construction job owner and is responsible for coordination and direct communication with the contractor. The owner is also referred to as the entity. Entities can include the state, cities, counties, public utilities, and private stakeholders such as housing developments and local businesses. For CDOT projects, in addition to the contractor's crew, there will be 2 members from CDOT who are assigned to the construction project. These 2 people are the project engineer and the resident engineer. The project engineer is responsible for making sure engineering specifications are met, including state specifications and safety. Temporary traffic control. Temporary traffic control devices are used to create temporary traffic control zones. Traffic control devices guide and regulate traffic movement, control vehicle speeds, warn of potentially hazardous conditions, and provide important information to the traveling public. Traffic control devices include signs, pavement markings, cones, vertical panels, drums, barricades, and more. Traffic control signs. There are 4 types of signs flaggers should know about. They are regulatory, warning, guide, and temporary traffic control warning. Each type of sign has a different purpose and function. Each category of signs has a certain shape and color scheme, so they are easily recognized. Regulatory signs impose legal obligations and restrictions on all traffic. Examples include speed limit signs, stop signs, and do not enter signs. Most regulatory signs carry a black legend and border on a white background. Stop and yield signs are octagonal or triangular in shape, with white letters on a red background. Flaggers are not police officers. Only police officers can override existing regulatory devices, such as a stop sign or a traffic signal. Warning signs notify the traveling public of conditions ahead. The traveling public should adhere to these signs. Warning signs carry a black legend on a yellow background with a black border. Guide signs are informational signs that can show things such as destinations, route designations, directions, distances, and more. Many guide signs carry a white legend and border on a green background, but guide signs also come in many other colors. Temporary traffic control warning signs, also known as work zone or construction warning signs, are used for construction and maintenance projects to notify the traveling public of unexpected situations or conditions on or near the roadway. Temporary traffic control signs are generally, but not always, diamond-shaped and carry a black legend and border on an orange background. Some examples include road work ahead, flagger ahead, right lane closed, road closed ahead, and detour ahead. Temporary traffic control devices. There are many types of traffic control devices used in construction and maintenance operations. When used at night, these devices shall be retroreflectorized or equipped with lighting devices for maximum visibility. Cones are one of the most frequently used traffic control devices. They are lightweight, easy to move, and since they are orange, are easily seen by the traveling public. Cones can be knocked over due to wind or passing traffic. Never leave your flighting station to reset devices. Instead, inform the TCS of the situation. Drums are effective devices for controlling traffic as they are larger and more visible to the traveling public. Drums are used in lane closures for long-term projects. Vertical panels are also an effective temporary traffic control device. They are vertical rectangular panels with downward diagonal stripes indicating the open lane. Vertical panels or drums are required to be used in the taper on state highways. There are 3 types of barricades that can be used on construction projects. Type 1 barricades are portable and have a single horizontal retroreflectorized rail and are used as traffic control devices. They are used on low-speed conventional roads and urban streets. Type 2 barricades are less portable than Type 1 and have 2 horizontal retroreflectorized rails. These are used on higher speed roads. Type 3 barricades are for extended road closures and have 3 horizontal retroreflectorized rails. Direction indicator barricades include an arrow and are used in tapers, transitions, and other areas where specific direction guidance to drivers is necessary. Again, the slanted stripes and arrow indicate the open lane.
Tools of the trade. Stop-slow paddle. The stop-slow paddle is the most used and identifiable piece of equipment that flaggers will use to control traffic. The stop-slow paddle must be at least 18 by 18 inches. The stop side is octagonal in shape and has a white border and letters on a red background. The slow side is a simulated diamond shape and has a black border and letters with an orange background. The stop and slow signs are mounted back-to-back on a rigid staff at a height that is visible to oncoming or stopped traffic. The stop-slow paddle must be retroreflective when used at night. Flags. Flags can be used in emergency situations or as an alternative to the stop-slow paddle when flagging during high wind conditions. Flaggers must always speak to their TCS prior to using alternative tools and alternative methods. Flags shall be a minimum of 24 by 24 inches in size, made of red or fluorescent orange-red material and securely fastened to a staff approximately 3 feet in length. The free edge should be weighted to ensure that the flag will hang vertically, even in heavy winds. When used at night, flags shall be retroreflectorized red.
Flashlights and lighted wands.
Flagging stations shall be illuminated at night, except for during emergency situations. In addition to an illuminated flagging station, or if flagging in an emergency situation, flaggers may use a flashlight with a red-lighted cone or a red-lighted wand to make the flagging operation more visible at night. The cone or lighted portion of the wand must be at least 6 inches in length. Radios, air horns, and whistles. Devices such as radios, air horns, and whistles are used by flaggers for communications. Radios are normally used for flaggers to communicate with each other, which is especially important when flaggers cannot see each other. Radios are also used for flaggers to communicate with the TCS. Air horns and whistles are used for emergency notifications, so all work zone personnel on the job site can hear the alert and take immediate action as needed. In emergency situations, after the air horn or whistle has been sounded, the flagger can relay specific information to the TCS via the radio. Automated flagger assistance devices. As worker safety is a priority, automated flagger assistance devices, known as AFADs, can be used to allow flaggers to control traffic remotely while remaining in a close but safer location. AFATs require a certified flagger, along with additional specialized training for operation. AFATs can be operated by a single flagger in a location where the flagger can see both ends of the work zone, or can be operated by separate flaggers near each device's location. While AFATs may consolidate flagging duties, they are not a replacement for qualified flaggers.
Dressing for the job. Flaggers must dress appropriately for safety and visibility reasons. When flaggers consistently wear the same attire at each work zone, drivers have a general understanding of what to expect. If drivers know what to expect, it will improve safety for the flaggers, work crew, and the traveling public. Appropriate flagger attire includes proper personal protective equipment, or PPE. The PPE will consist of a required high-visibility safety vest and other apparel, and depending on the job or employer, a hard hat, boots, and safety glasses. Flaggers will also need to plan and dress appropriately for changing weather conditions while flagging. High-visibility safety apparel. High-visibility safety apparel, referred to as HVSA or high-vis, is required for all flaggers. Wearing HVSA apparel makes it easier for flaggers to be seen and identified by the traveling public and the construction crew. Flaggers must wear safety apparel meeting the latest requirements of the International Safety Equipment Association, or ISEA, and the American National Standards Institute, or ANSI. HSVA is required for daytime and nighttime flagging activities and must be visible at a minimum distance of 1,000 feet per CDOT standard specifications. Per the MUTCD, flaggers are required to wear Type R Performance Class 2 or Class 3 ANSI 107 HVSA approved apparel. Per the MUTCD, daytime operations require Type R Class 2 apparel, and nighttime operations require Type R Class 3 apparel. Type R Class 3 apparel can either be a Type R Class 3 vest or a combination of a Type R Class 2 vest with Class E pants or gaiters. ANSI Class 2 safety vests are to be used where traffic is moving under 50 miles per hour. ANSI Class 3 safety apparel is to be used where traffic is traveling in excess of 50 miles per hour at nighttime or when working in conditions with limited visibility. To maximize visibility, HVSA safety apparel must be clean, in good condition, and worn properly. Wearing your vest incorrectly or wearing the wrong size can reduce its visibility to drivers and also be hazardous around equipment and TTC devices. Flaggers need to check with their TCS or foreman to determine what HVSA apparel and other PPE is required for each job. Fluorescent orange-red or fluorescent yellow-green high-visibility hard hats may be required depending on the job hazards or local agency requirements. Hard hats are required for all CDOT projects. If used, hard hats must comply with ANSI ISEA Z-89.1 and ANSI ISEA 107 standards. Always confirm requirements with the TCS. If a hard hat is not required, consider using one to be more visible. Other items a flagger may need. There are other types of clothing, PPE, and additional items flaggers may want to have with them. Flaggers should always wear appropriate, sturdy footwear in compliance with the latest national standards and requirements. Depending on the type of work, road surfaces can be dangerous, and sneakers do not provide adequate protection. Proper footwear will protect feet and improve stability on uneven surfaces. Be sure to check with your TCS or foreman to determine what footwear is required for each job. Safety glasses may be required by law. See OSHA requirements and ANSI Z-A7.1 for standards. Other items flaggers may want to have with them are a dust mask, long-sleeved shirts, gloves, windbreaker, retro-reflectorized rain gear, sunscreen, insect repellent, water, food, and any other items that help combat the elements.
Flagger job duties. A flagger's job is to stop, release, and slow or alert traffic. To help carry out their job duties effectively, flaggers will need to stay vigilant and aware of their surroundings at all times, plan an escape route, communicate with coworkers, be courteous and firm when communicating with the traveling public, have a general understanding of the construction project so they can answer the public's questions, keep a valid flagger certification card on their person while flagging, wear the required high-visibility vest, PPE, and other proper work attire, know the laws, regulations, and standards as they apply to flaggers and temporary traffic control, understand their authority and limitations, and know and use flagging procedures, techniques, and equipment properly. Interacting on the job. Flaggers serve as the construction project's most noticeable representative. Therefore, flaggers need to have a general understanding of the work being done and information regarding delays so they are prepared to answer the traveling public's questions. Work zone delays are frustrating for everyone, and the traveling public is no exception. Flaggers must remain calm should the traveling public become agitated. If a driver does not obey the flagger's instruction, the flagger should get a description of the vehicle, license plate number if possible, as well as a description of the driver, and report this information to their supervisor as soon as possible. Flaggers should never physically intervene. Flaggers need to communicate with each other to coordinate the stopping and releasing of traffic. If visual communication is not possible between flaggers, other types of communication will need to be used. Alternate communications can be done with pilot vehicles or two-way radios. However, there may be instances when two-way radios cannot be used. Flaggers will need to meet with the TCS to determine the best flagger communication practices for each project. Flaggers need to be aware that emergency vehicles may have to pass through the work zone. Emergency vehicles with active lights and sirens do not have automatic passage through the work zone. However, the flaggers need to communicate immediately to clear the way for them to pass through as soon as possible. Emergency vehicle passage through the work zone is covered in the project's method of handling traffic, or MHT, or traffic control plan, which typically describes procedures for emergency vehicles right-of-way. However, it will still be the flagger's responsibility to react appropriately should they encounter emergency vehicles while flagging. Flagging station. One of the most important things flaggers must know before flagging is where the flagging stations are located. Flagging station locations will be addressed in the Temporary Traffic Control Plan, also referred to as the TTCP or TCP, and will take into consideration factors such as traffic speed, curves, hills, and size of the roadway. Advanced warning signs must always precede flaggers, so motorists are aware of the flagger's presence. If these signs are missing or knocked down, the TCS must be notified immediately, as this creates an unsafe condition and is against regulations. Flaggers cannot leave the flagging station to fix issues with TTC devices. Flaggers should also be aware of other factors that can reduce their visibility to traffic, such as rain, fog, snow, hail, nighttime, sun glare, and shadows from buildings, trees, or mountains. Flaggers should not stand behind or just in front of traffic control devices, just over a crest of a hill, just around or in a curve, near construction materials and equipment, next to a vehicle, and should not enter or stand in any lane with live traffic. Consider wearing a high-visibility fluorescent yellow-green vest, since an orange-red vest can blend in with work zone signage, cones, and drums. When setting up at the flagging station, the flagger must make sure they have a safe escape route. In planning an escape route, flaggers need to identify obstacles that may hinder their escape, such as bridges, structures, guardrail, barricades, drop-offs, or difficult terrain. If an appropriate escape route cannot be established, flaggers should contact their TCS for assistance in relocating the flagger station. By planning ahead and monitoring surroundings, flaggers can protect themselves, coworkers, and the public from dangers such as erratic, careless, and distracted drivers. Flaggers cannot leave their station or AFAD-assigned post unless they are relieved by a certified flagger, are dismissed by their supervisor when a flagger is no longer required, or to immediately get out of harm's way. Flaggers that need to be relieved must contact their supervisor or have pre-planned breaks. In addition to the necessary items flaggers will bring with them when they flag, there are many items that are prohibited at flagger stations. Prohibited items include, but are not limited to, music players of any kind, including earbuds and headphones, chairs or stools, alcoholic beverages, recreational drugs, or anything that can impair judgment or reaction time, and books, magazines, ebooks, or any other reading materials. Flagger tips. Here are some do's and don'ts for flaggers. Do: review safety procedures with the team or attend a pre-job safety meeting. Establish a way to communicate with the team prior to flagging. Have an alternate way to communicate with the team in the event of an emergency or technology failure, such as a dead battery in your radio. Consciously prepare an escape route in advance. Separate yourself from your coworkers so that you are easily recognized by motorists. Stand where you are visible to traffic and coworkers. Ensure traffic proceeds safely and smoothly through the work zone. Keep your head on a swivel. Be aware of your surroundings. Have situational awareness. Be alert at all times. Do not leave your flagging station unless you are in harm's way, have been relieved by a certified flagger, or have been notified by the TCS that a flagger is no longer required. Come to work impaired in any way. Use your cell phone, except in case of emergency. Turn your back to live traffic. Sit, recline, or squat because you won't be visible to drivers and will not be able to respond quickly in an emergency situation. Pole dance. Wave, spin, or twirl your paddle. Flaggers may be removed from job sites due to improper flagging techniques, not having their flagger certification card on their person while flagging, or if there are drug or alcohol concerns.
How to flag. Flagging with a paddle. Since a flagger's position in an active work zone involves being near traffic, it is essential that the flaggers are aware of their surroundings at all times. Flaggers must never turn their back on live traffic, as doing so can put their own life and their co-workers' lives at risk. Typically, flaggers stand on the shoulder that is next to the lane of traffic they will be guiding. The paddle should be on or near the edge of the traveled lane. If a traffic lane has been closed, the flagger may stand in the closed lane. Flaggers must not stand in any lane with live traffic. Lastly, flaggers should not stand so far off the shoulder that they cannot be seen by the approaching traffic. The three basic flagging functions are stopping, releasing, and slowing or alerting traffic. The flagger paddle must always be held in the hand closest to the lane of travel, with the arm extended so the paddle is away from the flagger's head and body, and therefore can be seen clearly by the traveling public. Nighttime flagging has an additional level of danger. Before flagging at night, the flagger must check to make sure all of their equipment and required clothing is either retroreflectorized or lit. If a flagger has any concerns, they must notify their TCS immediately. The flagging station must also be lit with light plants during nighttime flagging operations. The only exception to this is in emergency situations. Flashlights with red glow cones or red lighted wands can also be used to make the flagger more visible. For safety reasons, flaggers should never stand directly in front of any vehicles. See the CDOT Flagger Training Manual for flagging at night with a paddle and using a lighted wand. Stopping traffic with a paddle. Per the MUTCD, to stop road users, the flagger shall face road users and aim the stop paddle face toward road users. in a stationary position with the arm extended horizontally away from the body. The free arm shall be held with the palm of the hand above shoulder level toward approaching traffic. The flagger will maintain their position and make eye contact with the first driver until they come to a complete stop. After the first vehicle has stopped, the flagger can move to a position near the center of the roadway or next to the traveled lane, where they are visible to other stopping vehicles. The flagger needs to be visible so other drivers do not try to pass the first stopped vehicle. The flagger must not cross into the open traveled lane, since vehicles will be coming from the other direction. Releasing traffic with a paddle. The flagger will coordinate with the other flaggers before releasing traffic. When it is safe to let traffic proceed, with the paddle remaining on stop, the flagger will move back to the shoulder or closed lane and stand directly facing the traffic. To release stopped traffic, the flagger shall turn the slow paddle face towards the road users and shall motion with the free hand for road users to proceed. Slowing traffic with a paddle. To alert or slow traffic, the flagger shall face road users displaying the slow paddle, then with their free hand, palm down, slowly motion up and down. How to flag. Flagging with a flag. Flagging with a flag should be limited to emergency situations or used as an alternative to the stop slow paddle when flagging during high wind conditions, as the paddle may be hard to control. Flags must be red or fluorescent orange-red, and at night must be retro-reflectorized red. If used in non-emergency situations, flaggers must always speak to the TCS prior to using alternative tools and alternative methods. When using flags, follow the basic flagging procedures regarding where to stand, coordinating, and communicating. See the CDOT Flagger Training Manual for flagging at night with a flag and using a lighted wand. Stopping traffic with a flag. Per the MUTCD, to stop road users, the flagger shall face road users and extend the flag staff horizontally across the road user's lane in a stationary position so the full area of the flag is visibly hanging below the staff. The free arm shall be held with the palm of the hand facing traffic and above shoulder level. Releasing traffic with a flag. Per the MUTCD, to direct stopped road users to proceed, the flagger shall face road users with the flag and arm lowered from the view of the road users, and shall motion with the free hand for road users to proceed. Flags shall not be used to signal road users to proceed. Slowing traffic with a flag. Per the MUTCD, to alert or slow traffic, the flagger shall face road users and slowly raise and lower the flag from shoulder level to straight down. Do not raise the arm above horizontal position. The flagger shall keep the free hand down. Remember, flaggers are responsible for their own safety, the safety of the traveling public, and the safety of their coworkers, and therefore must remain alert at all times. Working safely may get old, but so do those who practice it.